How you guys doing? This is Argustic Dunbar, the hybrid entrepreneur coming at you. I'm with my main guy, my barber, Mr. Richard Cornett. How you doing, man?
I'm so doing glad. Good, man. Thank you.
When I had the idea to start this series, I was like, I've gotta get Richard. Like, if I show you my phone, I literally have a list of like 15 people. Your name is like number 1, 2, or 3 is up there. I was like, I've got to get them.
I really appreciate it.
And just a quick tip on how we met, right? I walked into a barbershop because I don't know. So I had recently graduated college. There's not a lot of. It's not easy to find a black barbershop, right?
Right.
In the DFW area.
Right.
Using Google.
Right.
It's not easy, right?
That's correct.
And I remember I went to so many places. I was in such bad shape. I went to Sports Clip one time. Never again, right? No offense to Sports Clip. And then I walked in your store, and whenever I go into somewhere, and especially if it's minority owned, I'm trying to figure out, okay, who runs this show? Like, I want to influence the influencers.
Right.
Does that make sense? And I walked in and you had 3 barbers at the time, it was you and 2 other people.
Right.
And you're the only one dancing and singing. I'm like, this guy must be the one who goes. Absolutely. Figure I was right? Yeah. And got to start talking, right? And I want to kind of tell them a little bit more about your credentials, right? So been in business how long now?
I've been owning my own barbershop for 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
Made 16 years. Mm-hmm. I've been cutting hair for 22 years. I've been cutting hair since 1995.
Mm-hmm. Boy, you sound old. Keep that.
I know.
It's 2018.
I just look like this. You know.
I've been cutting hair since 1995.
Since 1995, I've been cutting hair, and it's been great. You know, I've been trying to figure out how to inspire, how to relegate, how to push a business, how to run, and my biggest thing now is really trying to teach and show people what it is that could help them. You know?
So let's say I'm a young guy and I don't want to go to college. I'm thinking about becoming a barber. What is it like if you're running a successful business 15, 16 years, what does the income potential look like?
The income, I make 6 figures.
Okay.
I do now the potential is limitless, okay? But it's gonna depend on how dedicated you are to your craft. If you get up, if your hours are 10 to 7, and you get to work every day at 10:30 or 11 o'clock to 7 or whatever, you're not going to meet your goals. You have to be the person. The hardest thing about this business is the freedom. That's the hardest thing about this business.
Really? What do you mean?
You don't have to get up. Nobody's going to tell you to get up. Nobody's going to be on your butt. I'm an owner, but I'm not going to make you do. You're gonna have to be self-motivated to do this thing. Okay?
Would you say it's an entrepreneurship in general?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I can motivate you, and I can sweet talk you. I can help you. I can tell you good things. But if you get out the bed, and you say, "Look, I want to make this much," then I can show you how to make that. But you have to be motivated to make that first, and that's what's going to get you
the desire
success.
has to be there.
That's right. I can't put the desire in you, but if you are motivated to make it, I can definitely help it.
So were you always disciplined, like to the level you are now?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. When I first started out, I was a bit of a knucklehead. I believe it. I
saw pictures in your house, right? Because his birthday was recently. Let me tell you, he's an incredible barber. Incredible barber, much better dancer. With or without liquor. So I saw pictures in your house, right?
Yeah.
Me and your wife were actually talking. She was like, yeah, he had tall hair, and a lot of his pictures with him with his shirt off lifting weights. So obviously he likes it so. So yeah, tell you were rough around the edges initially.
Yeah, I was rough. What it was is I was a prodigy. I was a young, talented barber. I had skill at a very young age. I've been cutting hair since I was like 12 years old. So I had skill at doing.
Was that 1995 when you were 12? No.
No. I was 18 and 19 in 1995. Okay.
Wow.
But
so you've really been cutting since like 1990,
right.
89.
I've been cutting hair probably since 90 or 89, 90.
Yeah.
What it was I had the skill, but I didn't have the discipline at first. And so what happened with me is I had people that came around me, that relegated around me, that people that believed in me, and they were like, hey man, you need to be doing this, that, and the third. And they pushed me to become a better person.
So there were things that you wouldn't have done had you been pushed by other people?
No, I wouldn't have done it.
Give me an example.
For instance, I had a friend named Ray. He was like, man, you need to get your own shop. And at the time, I was not thinking about getting a shop. I was like, bro, I'm good. I make money. I'm good. I was just happy for where I was. And he kept pushing. He's like, man, well, you need to go downtown and get this patent and get this thing. And I'm like, why? Like,
wow.
But
so you didn't have that desire?
Nope.
Gotcha.
Not at first. But when he kept pushing it, I was thinking, I was like, man, why does he believe in me so much? And then I kind of noticed, like, okay, I can do this. because it was a far-fetched dream at first, but when he kept pushing it, it made me think, damn, I think I might be able to do that.
So let's talk about that really quickly. I call it the white hot moment. Now, typically, someone is frustrated. I know, at least for me, it was. I was like, I'm just so frustrated working for this person.
Right.
Tired of being criticized. Like, and it's just like, it got to a point where it's like, I'm so frustrated, I'm going to take action.
Right.
Maybe yours wasn't frustration. Maybe it was someone pushing you. I want to know more about that moment that made you say, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go get my own shop. I'm going to go do my own thing. What was it?
The moment that came to me that made me want to go get my own shop is that what I figured out is once I got to that comfortable point to where I was comfortable and I wasn't wanting for nothing, I would have problems with either the staff or the owner of different barbershops. And everybody had a different way of running their own shop. I didn't run into one. I worked in 14 different shops, by the way.
Wow.
14 different shops.
By choice or because
no,
you just had
by
to?
choice, because I had a gift of, if I saw somebody do something, I could replicate it. And I just wanted to keep learning, and I ran into so many different people, and so I could
you were
learn
working
something.
to learn, not necessarily working to earn.
That was just what I started off doing. If you did something I liked it, I could take it. And so barbers are very artistic minded people, and so they don't like that. So they don't like if a person, and it's really a flattery, you know, what they say, mimicking is imitation is the best form of flattery. Well, barbers don't like that. If they come up with something and they say, well, damn, you stole my stuff, you can't do that. Well,
is that a black barber thing or a barber thing in general?
I think it's an artistic mind thing.
Okay.
In general.
Okay.
You know, with people that are artistic, that come up with their own concepts, they feel like it's theirs. So once I figured out that I could do that, I was learning from people, and it took me to another level of like, I think I could take this to another level. And it really helped me to be somebody that at first I didn't think I could do it, but it helped me to just expand more after working there. And once I got enough of it, I was like, man, I can open my own shop. And I wasn't afraid of, and another thing, I wasn't afraid of change. So me getting ready for the change of being just a barber to an owner was something that I wasn't, number one, I wasn't afraid of, because I wasn't afraid of change, but it was a big difference.
Really? I thought you were going to say it wasn't that big of a difference.
No,
what was the big difference?
Well, I had to run a shop. I couldn't just be Richard. I couldn't just be that guy to where I can just
another level of responsibility.
Right. I had a whole nother level of having to make sure, I have to make sure that the light's on. I have to make sure that everything is clean. I have to make sure that these stations work properly, that everything is ready to go for everybody else. So it helped me get a greater sense of responsibility, you know. And once I did that, you know, I was like, okay, you know, I can do this. And it changed me as a person. And now in the midst of it, I had life going on, having children, going through this, going through that, you know. And so I became more responsible, and I grew to be the person that you see now. As far as
you don't come off as that responsible though, honestly. Not irresponsible, but like childlike, which is cool. I love it because energy is what you need. Like that's what attracts a lot of people to you. Even being at your birthday party, everybody's like, "Yeah, man, I love Richard." Da, 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 da. And I'm assuming you hadn't seen some of those people in maybe months or years, and it's almost like it's still
every person at that party. I keep in real good contact with.
Okay.
You know, they come to the shop, and if they don't get a haircut at the shop, they just come through and say hi, whatever.
I love it. I love it.
I keep real close contact with everybody that was there, pretty much.
So, quick question. I was always told that, especially in entrepreneurship and running a business, maybe not so much with a job, right? Because you can show up, not perform, and still get paid. That's why most people have a job, right?
Right.
I was told that life, like personal, like family, personal life, seeps into business, right? So I know you. This is not your first marriage and everything, and I'm bringing this up because I love Kim. I like you guys as dynamic. Period.
Right.
I like you guys as dynamic, and so would you say that your personal life, like when personal things aren't going so well, it affects the business versus when these are going great? It does. Would you say that affects the business? Yes or no?
Well, it could affect the business.
Has it affected the business?
In my second marriage, it definitely did affect the business. I had to change the name of the shop as a result of my second marriage ending.
To Grandmaster Cutz?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
It was called Jock D's Cutz after RTB's. I've been through 3 name changes.
I've seen Jock D's before.
Yep. I've been through 3 name changes in my shop.
So every time you get married, you change the name?
No. No, not at all.
Okay.
As a result of going through a divorce, I did change the name to Jock D's Cutz and took on a partner. Okay. And that was...
You did tell me about that. I remember that.
Yeah, I took on a partner.
Yes.
and that it didn't end so well or whatever. And what it was I had to go through that, grow from that, and then have to go through a stage of rebranding, rebranding everything or whatever. I'll say this: once you have the right person in your corner, you can do. I mean, it makes business easier.
Gotcha.
When you're going through personal things, it is harder to get where you want to be. And for me, I had to clean up my life, get everything together, stop, clowning or whatever, and get it to a better place. And then I was able to have a better business overall relationship and have a better business.
Yes.
And so now I'm where I want to be, but I have a woman in my corner that is helping me.
I should have brought her in for the interview.
Yeah.
She's awesome. I love Kim.
Yeah,
she's amazing.
great.
And it's funny because what she told, because we had lunch, right? And I was like, what makes you so different? Because you do well enough to where she doesn't have to work. Like, she works when she wants to, but she doesn't have to.
She doesn't have to
right?
work. My wife doesn't have to work.
She was telling me, she was like, yeah, you was hot stuff and all, you had all these women. Da, da, da. I was like, so what's so different about you? And she was like, oh, I told him, look, I don't need your money. Da, da, da. If we're going to do this. And I was like, bro, you like sound like a boss. I like that.
I mean,
like that.
What happened with me is when I met Kim, I was dropping off my son. I was picking up my son from school, and she was picking up her son from school. And we met each other. I gave her my card and da-da-da. And she just so happened to move in the neighborhood, and so she brought her son to get a haircut. And we started talking, and I noticed that she was a little bit different than what I was used to. She had just got through working on herself because she was going through her personal stuff. But she had...
Did she go through like a marriage prior to?
No, she didn't. She never been married. I'm her first husband.
Okay.
She's my third wife. I'm her first husband. But she, she had kids, had a relationship. And what she was telling me is she worked on herself she was at a point to where she was happy with herself. And I'd never experienced a woman who fully was happy with their
She does seem like a very secure person.
You know what I'm saying?
Period.
She didn't need somebody, she didn't need me to complete her. She just needed a helpmate like it's supposed to be. So it was nothing that if I couldn't add to make her life better,
there's no value.
Right.
Yeah.
There was nothing she could do with me. And so I never experienced that. I always dealt with people that had maybe daddy issues or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I didn't have issues of my own, but I always dealt with people that had situations. But for the first time, she didn't have nothing going on. I was getting myself to a better place, and I was like, wow, boom, this is something new. And it worked. It could and it was easy. Everything fit. Just like
I love it. And it just made sense.
Yeah, and it just made sense. We had the same values. We had the same goals as far as how we wanted to do what we want to do with our children, and religiously and da-da-da. And so it just fit.
I love it. I love it. So I wanted to go back. This is the first time I'll talk about this topic. I heard you say you're talented because you got started cutting hair from a young age and everything. And what I've noticed about myself too, especially in my business, like when it comes to talking on the phone, selling, recruiting, whatever, I'm talented. I've got the knack like you to talking to people, especially one-on-one. Very simple. But typically when you're talented, you tend to cut corners. Like I'm good enough to where I ain't got to do that.
Right.
I ain't got to practice. I ain't got to prepare.
Right.
I ain't got to. Did you go through a phase like that? And then was there a moment where you were like something happened and you were like, man, had I been better prepared, had I been more diligent beforehand or anything like that, had I not leaned on my talent, that result would have came out better?
There was a couple of instances where I think I could have done better if I would have been more prepared. But everything that I've been through is pretty much learning. And see, once I learn from something, I always grow from it. It instantly makes me stronger.
Do you ever meet someone, cause that's a skill set right there, right? To learn and grow. Do you ever meet people who go through something and they kind of complain and focus on it and then they don't grow?
Oh, God, I got family members like that. I got family members that don't grow through stuff, and then I'll talk to them and counsel them, and we'll talk about it, and they're like, it'd be better if you do this versus that, and people, there are just people like that, so you can't use that to hold you back. You just have to be like, oh, okay, I don't want to do that.
I would probably say that's probably your strongest character trait, period. I remember you talking to someone who's not a barber at all, and you were like, they taught me that, and so now I've learned, and I even started sharing videos with you, and you were like, I think it makes me a better entrepreneur, a better barber, because I take people's ideas, whether they are familiar with my industry or not, and if they work, I will implement them. I love that.
I take an idea, if somebody has an idea, and I don't think it's stealing. I just think if you come up with a good idea, Why did you tell me if you didn't want me to use it?
You can leave your money on the counter, right?
Yeah, why
You didn't want me to
tell
steal
me
it.
if you don't want me to use
Okay,
it? You know?
so we can go and we can talk forever. I appreciate you coming out today. What I want you to do lastly, I want you to look in the camera because again, we have people who are thinking about, they're toying with the idea of starting their own business, right?
Okay.
Maybe they haven't taken enough action. Maybe they have. Maybe they're not where they want to be. What 2 or 3 tips could you look in the camera and give to a startup entrepreneur who's trying to succeed? They want to build a 15-year business like you, and they just need some more inspiration.
16 years. Number one, don't be afraid of change. Never be afraid to change because change is something that's going to happen throughout your life. Don't be afraid of change. Always look at the circumstances and have a plan. What I would tell people is anything that you want to do, write it down. Have a spiral. I got like 8 or 9 spirals. If you have an idea, there are ideas that run through your brain every single day. You're not going to remember it all. Write it down on a piece of, in a spiral to where you can come back to it, and you can build ideas. You can build an empire just by writing down your basic thoughts every single day. You know, and so that I think that'll help you a lot. That'll help every person who is trying to be an entrepreneur and work for themselves to build themselves. Because, like I said, you won't remember everything, but if you develop a habit of writing things down that you think about, I think it'll help you be more successful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I heard develop a habit of writing things down.
Yep.
Don't be afraid of change and have a plan.
Yep.
I like it. Lastly, where can people reach you at? How can they stay in touch? Whether it's a website, your address, or whatever.
Oh my God. I have a website, Instagram, Facebook. My barbershop is located 531 West Arapaho, Suite 101. My number is 214-906-3926. You can Google me. I have the most reviews on Google. You can Google me, and you can look me up on Facebook. Type in Grandmaster Cutz, C-U-T-Z with a Z at the end, and you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Google.
Absolutely.
And my website.
And at this point, you're also looking
grandmastercutz.com.
to hire some more talented barbers.
And I'm
as well,
looking
right?
to hire 3 barbers right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. And I would just say anyone who's fortunate enough not to just know this guy, but to work with him on a day-to-day basis is incredible. And it's funny because I like going to your shop, and I pay Zach a lot of money to cut my hair. I pay him like $30, right? And there's a guy in Frisco who charges just as much. And I still come back to your shop because you're more personable every single time, right? And I love how you're just improving, always trying to get better and everything. So we can do this interview all day. Richard, you're the man. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you a lot.
Waking up and everything
Thank you
like
for
that.
having me.
And Argustic Dunbar, the hybrid entrepreneur. Until next time, signing off.